Hopefully you guys can see me. Again, shooting at night and still viewfinder on this camera's broken. Don't have money for a new one right now, so just gonna have to keep winging it. Hopefully it's not too bad. Been a while since I've done one of these. I saw a couple movies that I just haven't had a chance to talk about yet, so I'm going to do those first, and then I'll get into the one that I saw tonight. So this will be broken up into a couple different parts. Had a rough couple weeks, so that's why I didn't get a chance to talk about the other movies as I saw them. First one I saw, though, was I finally got around to seeing The Hobbit. By the time you see this, the movie will probably already be out on DVD. I think it's actually out now already. As far as The Hobbit goes, I liked it. I want to start out by saying I haven't read any of the Lord of the Rings books or The Hobbit or any other Tolkien work. So I went into the movie basically as a movie and as a companion piece to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I thought from that standpoint, I thought it held up pretty well. It was almost, there was the whole thing where people said the Lord of the Rings trilogy was 3 movies about walking. This is almost a fourth movie about walking. There's people longboarding in the parking lot. Weird. Yeah, so it's basically a 4th movie about walking, but there are a couple good action scenes, a little bit of comedy. It starts out almost the same place that Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings started out. Slightly different take on it. It has the older Bilbo Baggins and Elijah Wood playing Frodo, and they're leading up to when they're getting ready for the party that's at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, and Bilbo's writing in his book, and Frodo goes off to meet up with Gandalf. And then Bilbo starts reminiscing to himself about when Gandalf first came back into his life, and that's when it does a flashback into the story. The story is basically Gandalf shows up, asks Bilbo if he's willing to go on an adventure with him. Bilbo says no thanks, and Gandalf kind of forces him into this adventure anyway. Throughout the night, Bilbo's sitting down to have dinner. There's a knock at the door, and it's a dwarf. Okay? Dwarf comes in, eats his dinner. I think Bilbo gets, like, a roll. Then there's another knock at the door. Another dwarf. And then the 2 dwarfs together raid Bilbo's pantry and create a whole feast out of his entire stock of food for themselves as well as the other people that are going to be showing up. Another knock at the door, and like 7 more dwarfs come in. I think there's a total of 13 of them or something like that. I think the overall party's 13, and there's 11 dwarfs, Gandalf, and Bilbo. So yeah, some odd number. Eventually the leader shows up, and after they're done eating, they tell Bilbo, what they need him for. They're going on this adventure. They're trying to get back into their cave, mountain, palace, kingdom thing. They want him to come along because the hell is he, an elf? No. The Hobbit, duh. The Hobbits are, the elves are the big guys. Sorry about that. So, because he's a Hobbit, he's small, light on his feet, and able to blend in and sneak around pretty well. And the orcs and everyone else, and trolls, or whoever else exists, doesn't have the scent of hobbits, but they, especially around the mountain, but they have the scent of dwarves. So that's why they need him to come along, and they go on the adventure. At first, Bilbo's hesitant. He's like, no, I'm not going. He wakes up in the morning, everyone's gone, and he realizes that he really did want to go, so he goes chasing after him, catches up with him. Then it's them riding ponies through the woods. They camp out for a night. They tell the story of the leader. And they fight some ogres or something. That's where they find where Gandalf finds his sword, and he finds Sting and gives it to Bilbo. Then Gandalf leads the party unwillingly into the elves' kingdom, and he has a meeting with Saruman and the girl elf, not the Liv Tyler one, the blonde one that they met later. The one that gave Frodo the little light in a bottle thing. I can't think of her name. And the elves leader. Can't think of his name either. But they all have a meeting and discuss what's going on. They tell them, don't go on this journey, but the dwarves take off in the middle of the night. Frodo goes with them. They camp out in a cave. There's a little bit more in between there. There's a couple action scenes where they thought everyone died, but they didn't. Spoiler. So they camp out in a cave, and turns out it's a troll cave or something like that, and they're taken captive by the trolls and have to battle their way out. Bilbo, being able to blend in easily, slips away. One sees him and comes after him, and they fall off a ledge and end up in a lower part of the cave, and that's where Bilbo runs into Gollum, finds the ring, has a little bit of a showdown with Gollum, not too big, but it explains how he came about the ring and how Gollum knew when, in Lord of the Rings, when he was tortured and he said Shire Baggins, it explains how he knew that information. Then they all escape. Frodo catches back up with them. Then there's another battle between them and the orcs. After that battle, they get away. They go to a mountain, and they can see the mountain that they're trying to get to. And that's basically where the movie ends. You gotta pick it up in the second one. Like I said, overall, it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. It fits in with the rest of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, at least as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, those of you who have read the books are like, oh, well, it's not true to the book. It's got a lot of stuff missing. They've added elements from other Tolkien stories to pad it out, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not into the whole Tolkien thing, which I'm not a big reader, so obviously I wouldn't have read the books. But if it, as a companion piece to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I think it fits well. Some people I saw had complained about the singing they did in the movie. So I was actually thinking there was going to be a lot more singing in the movie than what was actually in it. They sing like 2 songs, and they're both right at the beginning of the movie. When the dwarves come in and cook up all his food, and then he's kind of pissy with them, like, you're wrecking my house, and then they start cleaning up the house and, like, kind of throwing dishes around, but they're washing them at the same time, kind of something out of Disney. But as they're cleaning up, they sing a song about the stuff Bilbo Baggins hates. And then from there it cuts to nighttime when they're all getting ready to sleep for the night, and they're all, gathered around the fire in Bilbo's house, and they sing another song. It's kind of what do you call them? Like almost a hymn, but like a dwarvish hymn, or like like a, not really a nursery rhyme, but, you know, something, like a, I guess best thing I could describe it to would be like a Klingon opera. You know, how they go into battle and then they sing a song about it type of thing. So they have this song that they sing, and that's really the only two musical numbers, and they're within like 5 minutes of each other, and they're within the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie. So I don't know what everyone's big deal about it is. It is, the things Bilbo Baggins hates was a little out of place. The other song that they sang at night was fitting as far as I'm concerned, but the other song didn't really bother me that much. It was kind of like, okay, that's weird, but it didn't really, like, cause any change in the movie, really. It just kind of takes you away from it for a second, but then you're right back into it. So, yeah, the musical things didn't bother me that much. If you like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, check it out. You'll probably like it. If you're a fan of Tolkien, then you may like it, you may not. A lot of the people who have read the book seem to be the ones that don't like it that much. But if you're like me and you can ignore what a movie's based on and just go into the movie as a standalone thing, I find that I actually enjoy a lot of movies that people hate because they're like, oh, well, you know, like a lot of people bitched about the Harry Potter films because, oh, well, they left this out and this out and this out, or they changed this. And it's like, well, yeah, you know, it's a movie. Let it stand alone as what it is, you know, regardless of if you know the source material or not. And, you know, that's kind of it. I've always been able to do that. I don't know why the rest of the world isn't. So, like I said, I may end up enjoying films more than a lot of other people do. A lot of people are really cynical. And it seems to be the cool thing to hate everything now. So, I don't know. I don't do that. So, I'm recommending the movie. If you like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, if you didn't like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, then you probably won't like this one either. Like I said, I saw it in theater. I saw it in IMAX 3D. The 3D was pretty good. There were a couple times it annoyed me. Basically, like as they were riding the ponies through the woods, they would try to use some visual foreground effects to kind of set the depth of the shot. And like I would be watching straight ahead, and this tree branch would just start to jut out from your peripheral vision, like right out of the corner of your eye, and it would sit like right here on your eye line. And that kind of annoyed me a bit. They did it like 3 or 4 times. Other than that, the 3D was pretty good. There was one time a butterfly was floating out of the screen, and it was like too close the way it came out, and it actually kind of split and blurred a bit, at least for me. Like I said, that could have just been me, or it could have just been the way my eyes work with the 3D glasses. I don't know, but yeah, it was like 4, maybe 5 little things that bothered me with the 3D. There was one point I actually took my glasses off for a second just because it was actually with the butterfly thing, how close it got. It actually gave me a little bit of a headache because I think my eyes were starting to cross. So I actually had to take the glasses off for a minute, you know, and rub my eyes and then put them back on, and I was fine. So 3D's pretty good in it. So yeah, it should be out on DVD now by the time you're seeing this. So if you like the Lord of the Rings, check it out. If not, then don't. If you don't want to pay to buy it on DVD or Blu-ray, it'll probably be on Netflix pretty soon. You can probably stream it off of Amazon for a couple bucks. But yeah, as far as The Hobbit, I like it. I recommend it. That's it for this part. I'm going to cut it here, and I'll be back in a moment to talk about another movie I saw. I might have to switch tapes. I think this one's running out. So for The Hobbit, that's all. And I will return soon with my next movie review. Thanks for watching. Bye.